Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here, and today I would like to discuss GTA 6. Now, of course, since the talk of the town, we got the new trailer out. Honestly, the last trailer came out so long, I think people forgot the game was supposed to come out this year. Like, I've seen some reactions to the new trailer, and I'm like, I think people forgot that there was already a trailer, and it was supposed to be this year. And it's like, oh man, we gotta wait a year. It's like, that sucks. It's like, I think you guys forgot because that was so effing long ago. I think it was actually like 2 years ago when we got that first trailer, something crazy. It was actually a while ago, and then it was like, hey, you know, we're delaying the game for a year, and then like the next day they're like, all right, here's a new trailer for everybody. So it's been interesting, you know, the last little bit, and it's interesting to say the least. It's interesting because it's GTA 6, first of all. It's been a part of a great mania topic as of late, with games being, you know, shooting up. Nintendo's like, hey, $80. Xbox is like, hey, $600 for a 5-6-year-old console. You know, everybody's freaking out. And then it's like, well, what's gonna happen? EA, of all people, have said that they're not gonna boost their games up. They're gonna stick to, I guess, 70 right now. And it's like, okay, I'll listen to them. I'll trust them when they bring back Dead Space a third time and don't kill it. But for now, they, you know, screw EA. But this game's gonna cost more than $70, right? Like, it's, I don't know, like Rockstar might do something amazing and they're like, hey, we're sticking to $70. They could go absolutely crazy and say we're doing $60, but they would never do that because there's no reason. They could go up to 100 and people would be like, yeah, I'm still gonna buy it because so many people have said it. It's all over the internet, and you know, it's just it's a dangerous thing. Please don't spend $100 on a game unless it's like the collector's edition or whatever. I mean, you won't find a collector's edition for $100, but you know what I mean. Don't spend $100 unless you're getting something extra out of it. But the game looks good. I'm curious how it'll be once it actually, you know, officially comes out, because it's like, hey, all of this is, you know, on the base PS5, but it's probably like a beautiful 4K 30 frames per second. I don't think that's 4K 60 with that, and I'm curious to see how good it looks. You know, granted, 13 years. Granted, they've also gone so many generations. Who knows how much time they've really had on the PlayStation? Maybe a part of that is making sure it runs well on the PS5 now that they're, you know, 3 generations in since GTA 5. So they've been working on this for so long. It's like, well, they've had to have changed at least a couple of things considering how long they've been working on it. And who knows? They probably have a few things just from real world you know, satire that they're working on, where it's like, okay, well, we got to put this thing in. You know, they've been working on the game for so long. It's like, what are the references going to be? Like, how modern are the references going to be? What are some old references that they might have cut out of the game since they like first had the idea of making this one? You know, they started back on the PS3. Like, there are so many jokes and like just real world events that have happened since then, and it's like, what references are they going to make? They can, you know, obviously I'm sure they'll have their simple ones and stuff like that, but they always try to keep something more current. And it's like, you spent 13 years on this. Like, I don't know how current you're going to be. I'm sure they'll have more than enough that's current enough, but it's just interesting to think about that side of things. But then, of course, the other side of things is just the actual game itself. What's going on with the story, what's going on with the characters. Everybody's losing their mind over Lucia. You know, I mean, it's funny. I was like, okay, I guess I can't say I'm surprised it's happening, because in the first trailer they don't focus on it as much, but there's a lot of her butt, and you know, who's hating on that? Nobody. I don't think anybody hates that, but it was definitely funny. It's like just two hot people. Like, I've heard that more than once, where it's like the dude's hot, she's hot, everybody's just effing hot. They're jumping on each other and touching each other all over the place. Then of course there's going to be the strip club, and I said this when the first trailer came out, when the game was supposed to be this year. I was like, it's going to be like the most searched thing on Pornhub is going to be the GTA 6 strip club, but we'll have to push that another year. So next year, Pornhub's definitely going to be like GTA 6 strip club. Like, they're going to be people that make money just recording stuff in the GTA 6 strip clubs. Think about that. That is how crazy porn is. That's what people are going to do. It's ridiculous, but there's going to be some awakenings to this game, and that is just going to be interesting. That's interesting. But the game looks good. I'm not losing my mind about it. If I'm being totally honest, I had like no hype for it whatsoever. I don't know if it's because it's been 13 effing years since GTA 5. So I'm just like, I don't really care. Like, I feel like that's just how it is. Like, the only thing that I really care about, if I'm being totally honest, is the fact that they went back to Vice City. Vice City is my favorite GTA game. Like, Vice City is my favorite one. I think I like it more now than I did when I played it back then, because I actually like a lot of the music in the game. When I was younger, I didn't really listen to any of that stuff, but now it's like I'd actually love a lot of the music that ended up in Vice City. I love, like Hall & Oates and a bunch of other classic songs. Like I would actually like that more now than I did when I was playing the game back in the day. But I always like Vice City. I always like the style of it, because it was, it was the 80s Miami look, so all the cars were like the fancier cars and stuff, versus going from GTA 3 where it's just kind of regular cars. Obviously they have the fancier things. Shout out to the Diablo. That's like one of my favorite cars in all of GTA. I wish they would bring that back. That's only ever existed in GTA 3, and it's the muscle car with the flames on the front, for anyone that doesn't remember. But clearly that's how much I like the car. I remember the name. It's the Diablo. So I love that. And of course the Banshee is just a Viper, so I love the Banshee cars as well. And those still show up, but it's like, all right, well, let's see what happens. It was a little different. Those were special. And then when Vice City came along, it felt a lot more common to have like just cooler cars. So I'm hoping that we get a little bit more of that as well. And I'm sure it'll happen just like with GTA 4 and 5. You get to certain areas and it's like, hey, here's kind of where the specialty cars are. I'm sure some of you who played GTA 4 remember that weird thing where it's like, if you got the fancy car, all the cars change into that same car. Like it would be so hard to find it. And it's like, holy crap, I found it. Basically, it's like you found the Lamborghini, you steal that, and then you turn the corner and the game just loads in like all Lamborghinis. Like as soon as you finally steal one, the whole game is like, okay, here you go. So now you can kind of keep it going. So it was a weird thing that they did. I don't think they had that in 5, but in 4, that was definitely the case. Whenever you got like a fancy car, all of a sudden the whole game, like the algorithm would just change, and all the cars that spawned, it would be like 25% extra just Lamborghinis, and it was just like out of nowhere. It's like, oh, I finally steal one, and now all of them start to show up. So thought that was interesting back in the day. Like I said, some of you will probably remember that. Granted, that was over 13 years ago, so who knows? Who knows? But that's how it was back in the day, and I definitely enjoy getting my special cars and stuff. So I hope that's what we get, more of the fancier things when it comes to Vice City. But I'm looking forward to it for sure. We got a couple of songs in there. The only one that was like more of the 80s style was like the Everybody Wang Chung Tonight. Other than that, they kind of kept it more modern, keeping it close to the vest. So I'm sure we'll get some interesting songs. I'm very curious what we are going to end up getting for the songs. The TV shows I'm super curious about. It's been so effing long. How much effort have they put into the shows? Like, do they have a bunch of episodes? Like they have like the silly anime show that they had that showed up in GTA 4. They did like, I think 1 episode for GTA 5, and now it's been so long. It's like, you gotta put multiple episodes of that in, right? Like we've waited so long for the next game. They had to have done like a couple of episodes of all of like their specialty shows and commercials, and obviously there's gonna be brand new commercials and funny stuff like that. I'm super curious how that's gonna end up playing out. I'm curious if some of the new mechanics are gonna be like, hey, if this thing pops up on TV, maybe it's an actual job you can do. It might be super rare. Maybe there's only like one job you can actually do that has a commercial. But I'm curious, like there's just all these interesting ideas for mechanics. Tons of people have said it. I personally do believe that we will be picking up trash in a mini game. I think we will be allowed to use the little grabber as like a silly weapon to just do dumb stuff with. I just think that they'll definitely have that happen, because Lucia definitely has to do community service. They show it in the trailer. They show her coming home from community service. I think you have an option to do it. I don't know if it'll be mandatory except for like maybe the first time, because I assume they're gonna do it like, hey, she does community service, we go through a mission where you actually have to do it. And then I think after that, it'll probably be like a side mission, because I mean, let's face it, a lot of people are not gonna wanna do community service. You're not gonna wanna pick up trash. But there's probably gonna be somebody there that you end up meeting, and then that leads into like a main story thing. And it's like, hey, if you wanna keep doing it or you wanna be a completionist or whatever, here you go. You can do like however many missions they're gonna have of community service. Maybe that leads into an insane storyline if you actually do all the missions. Maybe the last one would be something really crazy, weird stuff, GTA stuff, where it's like, it seems like it's simple, and then when you finally go like 5 to 10 missions in, it's like, here's a super crazy story to reward you because you went through this super mundane, side mission thing. And it's like, here you go, here's like a really fun reward of like a crazy mission and some extra unlocks and stuff like that. So I think we'll definitely be picking up trash at least one time. I think it'll be a part of the story where you have to play it. And then who knows, maybe you can keep playing it, or you just switch over, and then it's like, I don't want to do that, she can do that, and I'm switching to my other character who does not have community service, and I'll just, I don't know, fix a roof or whatever. So I think we're going to be doing the community service for sure. That's just my personal opinion. I think we're going to have to do at least one mission, like I said, where it's definitely like community service based and you have to go out and pick up some trash. But other than that, I'm super curious what the mini games are going to be. I think we're going to do some gator hunting or animal hunting in some way, shape, or form. There's going to be some dude, I don't know if they'll make a full Jumanji reference, but 100%, they got like a national park where there's tons of different animals and it's the forest and all that. They're going to be hunting missions. Honestly, Red Dead Redemption is like, look, they put so much work into that game. They're going to pull something from that and be like, oh my God, let's just throw this in here so we got our money's worth. Like, we spent a lot of time doing that for Red Dead 2. Let's just throw it in the GTA 6. Like, for the love of God, let's just pick this up and just put a coat of modern on it, and then we throw it into a new game. Like, they're definitely going to do that, because 100% they're going to have mechanics from Red Dead 2 that move over into GTA 6. For instance, that game is so insanely detailed, which some people don't like. Like, there's some elements to that people don't like. That's another thing I'm super curious about. I haven't played Red Dead 2 myself, but I've seen a lot of footage from it. And there's stuff like, you go into the stores, you can just pick things up and actually examine them, and then it brings up the info as you're looking at all this stuff. And it's like, okay, how much of that do you put into GTA 5? Like, I don't even know how big Red Dead 2 is, but I would assume GTA 6, sorry, I meant to say that. But I would assume GTA is gonna be even bigger than Red Dead 2 is. And it's like, how many stores are they gonna have all of these unique items and stuff like that? I'm sure a lot of the stores are gonna have the same thing, but at the same time, I have no idea, because once again, I don't actually own the game. I don't know how detailed they got with Red Dead. Like, does every store have something brand new? Probably not. I'm sure there's, you get your basics, like every store is going to have ammo. Every ammunition is going to have a handgun or a machine gun or something, but some of them might have special things that you can only get at certain stores. I don't know if they did that for Red Dead, or if every store had everything that you need to buy, except for, maybe a couple that come later in the game and it's like, okay, that's like the specialty store. But those mechanics are coming over. So I think that's something that hasn't come up a lot when I watch videos about it. People don't reference Red Dead enough. Or it's like, they talk about all of these things that have happened before, and it's like, I think people are missing out on the idea that this game is going to be insanely detailed, and possibly even more so because of the fact that it's coming out, so many years after Red Dead 2. It's like, that game was crazy detailed. Imagine how much further they've gone, especially, them throwing in the delay. It's like, they're gonna go even crazier with it. So I'm very excited, mechanically speaking, what in the world this game is gonna do. My hype for it, like I said, is basically at a 0. It has nothing to do with GTA not being good or anything like that. I really enjoyed GTA 5. I think I got it day 1, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure I got GTA 5 on day 1, and that was on PS3. And that was the last time I played the game. They had the update, and I was super pissed because I spent, good Lord, who knows how long I spent, honestly. I was like, oh man, they got first person. I spent an eternity waiting for that game to update, because I hadn't played it in a super long time. I barely put any time into GTA Online, and that was, when it first came out. And then it was like, all right, it's fun to play online, and then I stopped. And then I thought that update came out for everybody. I spent an eternity waiting for that crap to update, because of course it was updating the online. It would be updating like 100 effing gigabytes of crap, and it was really just for stuff that I wasn't even utilizing. And then it finally does it, and I'm like, how the F do I get this first person mode? And then I finally looked into it, and it was like, oh yeah, that's just for like PS4 and PC. And I was like, I spent like 100 million years, because this thing is updating so much effing data, and then it wasn't even there. It was like, I wasted a ton of time just sitting there, like, it's just loading, like people just slowly moving past my screen, and the game just going just for 100 million years for it to be nothing. And I was super pissed. So that was like the last time I played the game, and of course that was still on PS3, but when it was the PS4 update. And I do have it on PC, because that was when Epic Game Store like first launched. They're like, here you go, GTA 5 for PC. I still never played it, but it was, I definitely got it for free. I just never picked it up or played it at all. Don't know if I ever will. Don't know if I will at all. I might, one day, just to hop online, because I haven't even played online in forever. I might do it again one day, but I haven't touched that game. I haven't been losing my mind for GTA 6. I don't even know if I'm really gonna get it the day it comes out, if I'm being totally honest. Just from a money perspective, I might not bother picking it up, because who knows? I'm sure I'll still have a billion games in my backlog. So I'm not even losing my mind like, oh man, I'm gonna be missing out. It's like, I got 20 years. The game's gonna be, I think the game's gonna be around a minute. So like it's almost like you don't have that fear of missing out because the game's gonna, if it's anything like GTA 5, I at least have a decade, over a decade. And it's like, okay, well, just that element alone is like they're gonna do so many updates and gambling additions so they can make a quadrillion effing dollars on people just spending money in an online casino. I'll be fine, like I'll be fine. Like the game's gonna be there until the heat death of the universe. I'll be okay. I'm not gonna miss anything. It'll always be there for me. GTA 6. I'm just a little more excited because it's set in Vice City again, and that's really about it. That was my main thing. I was like, oh, Vice City, the best place on earth. Other than that, we'll see what happens. I'm sure the story will be interesting. I am curious. Does seem like a cop based on a lot of stuff that's popped up. He does kind of seem like a cop. Like I don't know how this is gonna go. Everybody said the same thing. Seems like a bit of a Bonnie and Clyde situation, except he might actually be a cop. People are throwing out the Fast and Furious references now, which I thought was funny. I was like, we'll see what happens. But there are a couple things in there where it's like, it does seem like he might be a cop. Even the situation, and this I think is one of the things that really points out to it, is people have mentioned the fact that they've shown this other cop that's like, we got to protect our own and stuff like that. Unless he ends up secretly being the third playable character where you actually play as the cop trying to chase these two down, then I can't remember. I think the guy's name is Jason. I can't really remember 100%. But I think he has to be in the scene because they don't show, someone mentioned this, but they don't show scenes of other characters just doing stuff out there. Like they could change that for this game. This could be the first time they do that, but they always do cutscenes from your perspective. Like whatever character you play as, that's the cutscene you get. Like the character has to be in the actual cutscene for you to see what's happening. They don't ever show you stuff like, oh, this happened over here while you were doing something else. So unless you play as that officer, or he would have a higher rank than just officer. Obviously, he's like leading the team. But unless you're playing him, then there has to be another character you play as that's in there. And so it's interesting, lots of things leading towards the guy possibly being a cop or at least an informant in some way, shape, or form. So there's something going on there where maybe he used to be involved with them and he stopped, something like that. I'm not sure, but I'm curious to see, whether former cop, CI, just anything. Like he clearly used to be a part of military, so him doing more, official government work isn't exactly new in his case. And someone put out a really interesting theory where they said they believe Lucia might have gotten out to actually spy on him, and that was a part of her deal and how she got out so early. Because it's even in like her profile where it's like she got out based on like pure luck or something crazy like that. And it's like, that's an interesting theory where, someone mentioned that like maybe her pure luck was like, hey, we know your boyfriend's doing some stuff for us, but also doing some other illegal stuff. He's kind of standing on both sides. We need you to go in and investigate. So who knows? We don't know as far as, what we've seen from the game, what's a flashback. It could be like GTA 5 where they show the flashback mission, like the scene where they're in the skull bandanas as masks and stuff like that. That could easily be the flashback mission that got them, got her in trouble and got her arrested. And who knows? That could be the case. And that's the thing that they do. They did it, well, I mean, I guess they only did it in 5, but they didn't do it in 4. But in 3, it's the same thing. You start the game off, technically you're doing a heist mission. You don't really play that, if I'm not mistaken. It's just an opening cutscene. But it starts off where it's like, hey, here's the mission that got this character in trouble. And then you jump forward in time, and then the game actually starts. So GTA 5 isn't really the first time they've done that. It would just be the first time they've done it 2 games in a row. If you start off with the flashback mission and then you jump forward, but it wouldn't be the first time they've done it. So we'll see if that ends up, panning out. If we get some flashbacks to how she got arrested, if we actually end up playing that mission, or how any of that stuff goes. But I am curious. What's going to end up happening when this game officially comes out. I just saw a video where people talked about, of course, people analyzing the video like crazy. People mentioned the money that's being thrown around in the strip club actually has the faces of presidents from Red Dead Redemption 2. So the people that are the president, like in RDR2, are actually on the money. So it is like proving that it's in the same universe, which I thought was really interesting. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like they have references and stuff like that. I think they've had it for quite a while, because I'm sure there's something in one of the GTA games that references the first Red Dead Redemption. So it's just interesting, like, okay, they're making more very clear references like, yep, this is canonically like within the same, franchise and stuff like that. And I think they even did that in Red Dead 2 because of a special thing that happens that I heard about. But, just in case you don't know, I won't spoil it. But there's like a person that may or may not know some things that most people wouldn't know from the time. So, and I'll leave it at that. But they always like having their references, so that's actually kind of cool, presidents and whatnot. But I'm excited to see where things go. I'm very curious if we have any references to, with it being Vice City, of course, referencing actual GTA Vice City, any of the characters, Tommy Vercetti, anything like that. I'd be curious. It would make sense, even, decades down the line. That would just be, even if it's a slight reference, like one character can reference it, where it's like, hey, like back in the day, like crazy things used to happen. Like there's this one dude, like Tommy Vercetti, like he came from nothing and did all this, he was basically Scarface pretty much. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that ends up happening. If the character's even in the effing game. I know the actor passed away, but at 13 years, it doesn't necessarily mean he passed away before he was involved in the game. Just to throw that out there, like 13 effing years, there are a ton of people that they could have got to do voice lines in this game. And then all they had to do was kind of just update the rigs, as the game continued to progress to, the next generation of consoles. Who knows how many people have come in to do voice work for this game over the, more than decade that they've had to make this game. They could have done voice work a long time ago. They could have done it in increments of, a couple years at a time. It's GTA. Like, who knows who actually ended up being in this game? We could easily see voice work from Tommy Vercetti. And I wish I could remember the actor's name who passed away. Unfortunately, I can't right now. But honestly, it's totally possible. Ray Liotta, got it. It's totally possible that he's in the game. 100%. It doesn't mean he will be. They don't always do that just because they have characters or, they have the location. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just super possible that it could. And personally, I love it just because Vice City was my favorite. I would love a reference to that, even if he doesn't do anything. San Andreas did it. I mean, they had, what the F was his name? I can't even remember the dude's name from 3. But obviously he was in the game and, he just shows up. I don't think he even says a lot. He might say like one thing in San Andreas. I don't even remember. But, he was in there just to throw it out there. But it's like, they could do it. They can make a reference to it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the actual actor. But at some point, they got to be like, hey, Tommy Vercetti, just to throw the name out there, just to reference it, something like that. Or they could have a location that was in the original game that existed all the way until now. Like if they kept the club and it's just updated, like if that's the same club from the original game, that would actually be super cool. And it's like, oh yeah, this place used to be owned by like huge gangster like Tommy Vercetti. Like he was like, a crazy legend back in the day. Like you got to do a lot to get like him, kid. Something like they just throw the line out there like you're nothing like Tommy Vercetti. Easy, simple stuff like that. So I think a reference is almost inevitable. It's also been 13 years. They might as well just throw a reference in there. Like people have been wanting to go back to Vice City for so long. They might as well throw a reference in there. I don't see why not. But it's GTA 6, especially when it comes out, or heck, the next time they do, another trailer, everyone's gonna be talking about it. So it's GTA. Like it will be the talk of the town. It'll make a quadrillion effing dollars, and it'll be ridiculous. But those are my thoughts on it. Just had to get it out there. Like I said, I'll see it, when I see it, because I'll have like 13 years to play. But I would love to know your thoughts on GTA 6. Are you insanely hyped? Are you super upset with the delay? I always go with the idea of, hey, a delay is good. It just means they're going to make the game better or make it good in general. I mean, Cyberpunk, let's face it, you want the extra time. So I'm good on it, but want to know your thoughts on the delay and just how hyped you guys are, especially with the new trailer actually coming out. Your theories for who's a cop, who's not a cop, what's going to happen, who lives, who dies. Do we get the choice like GTA 5? Do we get to pick who lives, one of them or both of them? If there's a secret third character, if that, the other cop is actually someone playable, that would be interesting. So we'd love to know your thoughts and theories on it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.